Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to get past the surface noise and really explore some fascinating topics.
That's right.
Today, we're stepping into, well, kind of a spooky world, Japan's urban legends and ghost stories.
Mm. A really rich area.
It really is. And these aren't just campfire tales, are they? They're tangled up with deep cultural history, societal fears, even historical events sometimes.
Absolutely. It's like looking in a mirror for the culture, in a way. These stories, they shift, they adapt, but they always seem to blend that history with things that are genuinely, unsettling.
Makes you think, doesn't it? About justice, maybe, and what lies just beyond what we can see.
For sure. The veil feels thin sometimes in these stories.
So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack some of this. We're focusing on two really captivating figures, both called Okiku, strangely enough.
Two Okikus, yeah. Different legends, same name. It's interesting.
Very. We want to look at where these stories came from, how they changed, and the impact they still have. We've got a bunch of sources, articles, cultural blogs, some academic work too.
So a good mix to get different angles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where should we start? Maybe with the doll?
Let's do it. The Okiku Doll.
Yeah.
It's quite the enigma. So picture this. It's 1918 up in Hokkaido.
Okay.
A young guy, Aikichi Suzuki, he buys a traditional doll for his little sister, Kikuko. She's only 2. So a Okapa doll, you know the type,
Right.
the short bob haircut.
Right. Classic style.
And little Kikuko, she just loves this doll, loves it so much, she apparently names it Okiku after herself.
Ah, that's sweet, but I have a feeling this takes a turn.
It does, unfortunately.
Right.
Just a year later, 1919, Kikuko gets really sick. Some sources say a cold, others mention the Spanish flu or pneumonia.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she passes away. Just heartbreaking.
Terrible. So what happens to the doll, Okiku?
Well, in their grief, the family didn't cremate the doll with Kikuko, but they did something else. They placed it on their family altar.
As a memorial.
Exactly. It's kind of like a tradition, putting grave goods or mementos with loved ones.
Yeah.
So the doll became this sacred link to her.
Okay, so it's cherished, it's on the altar, but then things get weird.
That's putting it mildly. The family starts noticing something really unsettling. The doll's hair, remember that short bob?
Yeah.
It started getting longer.
Wait, what? Growing?
Apparently, yes. Slowly at first, then undeniably longer. Past its shoulders, down its back, eventually, they said, down to its knees. They even had to trim it.
You're kidding. Trim a doll's hair.
That's the story. They became convinced that Kikuko's spirit, maybe restless, was inside the doll.
Wow. Okay, so what did they do?
Well, eventually, in 1938, the family had to move. They decided the best, most respectful thing was to entrust the doll to the monks at Mannenji Temple, also in Hokkaido.
And it's still there.
It is, to this day. And the monks, they continue the tradition, they care for Okiku, and they trim her hair regularly.
Still, after all these decades.
Yep. Reports claim that even with trimming, the hair has grown past its knees again. Some say if they didn't trim it, it'd be near the floor of its display case.
That is deeply strange. Are there other stories from the temple?
Oh yeah, it gets stranger. Some sources mention claims, and these are claims, mind you, that hair samples were analyzed,
No.
proven to be human child hair.
No way.
That's the claim. Plus, other reports, things like the doll's mouth slowly opening over time, revealing tiny baby-like teeth.
Okay, now it's just full-on horror movie territory.
Right, and some priests have apparently reported having nightmares after spending time caring for the doll. It sounds like a heavy burden.
I bet. So is there any rational explanation offered?
Well, there's the scientific attempt. Some suggest doll hair, especially older types, made perhaps from folded silk or even real hair strands, could be held by glue that degrades.
Ah, so it slips and looks longer.
That's the idea. But the sources we looked at, especially those detailing the temple's observations, push back hard. They say there's no sign of hairs getting shorter elsewhere on the head, which you might expect with slippage, and the doll is apparently almost never touched, plus the sheer length reported now.
I think how much longer?
Some accounts say at least 3 or 4 times longer than it should be if it were just slippage. So it doesn't quite add up for them.
And the temple won't allow, like, proper scientific testing.
No. They see the doll as sacred, housing a spirit potentially. So extensive study is off the table out of respect, which, keeps the mystery alive.
It certainly does. And it's wild how this idea of haunted dolls pops up everywhere, isn't it?
Totally. You mentioned Robert the Doll down in Key West.
Yeah, and Annabelle the movie one, though the real story is a bit different. Still creepy.
Right. And Letta the Gypsy Doll in Australia.
Yeah.
It seems to be this universal thing, this fascination or maybe fear of inanimate objects gaining some kind of presence.
Yeah, unseen life. Okay, so that's one. Okiku, the doll with the maybe growing hair. Let's switch gears. What about the other famous Okiku?
All right, this one's a classic. We're talking about the Okiku from the Banshu Sarishiki legend.
The Dish Mansion at Banshu, that sounds ominous.
It is, and this isn't some minor folk tale. It's considered one of Japan's big three ghost stories.
Wow.
Huge cultural weight.
Wow, okay, so what's the story there?
This Okiku is a servant girl, often described as beautiful, working as a dishwasher, typically set in or near Himeji Castle.
Himeji Castle, the famous White Heron Castle.
That's the one. So Okiku works there, and there's a samurai, Ayama Tesson is a common name for him, who desires her. He keeps making advances.
And she's not interested.
Not at all. She rejects him. So Ayama, being powerful and cruel, comes up with a plan for revenge.
Oh.
He's responsible for, or she's responsible for washing, a set of 10 extremely valuable, precious dishes. Maybe Dutch pottery, something rare. He hides one.
Oh, setting her up.
Exactly. He makes it look like she lost or broke it. A terrible crime, potentially punishable by death back then.
So she's frantic, I imagine.
Completely. She counts them over and over. 1, 2, 3, up to 9. But the 10th is gone. Ayama then offers to overlook the mistake, if she'll finally give in to him.
Horrible. And does she?
No.
No.
She refuses again, and Ayama snaps. He has his retainers beat her, torture her sometimes. The story includes being tied and suspended over a well.
Just brutal.
Absolutely. And when she still won't yield, he kills her, often slashing her with his sword and throws her body down the well.
Into the well. Okay, I see where this is going. Ghost story time.
Precisely. Okiku doesn't rest in peace. She comes back as an Onrusha, a vengeful spirit, or a Yurei, the more general term for ghost.
To haunt Oyama.
You bet. Every night, her spirit rises from the well, and she does the thing that drove her mad in life. She counts the plates.
Out loud.
Yes. Slowly. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. And then instead of 10, she lets out this absolutely blood-curdling shriek.
Oh, that's chilling. Just the sound must have driven him mad.
It did, but the legend gets worse. It was said that if anyone else heard her count all the way to 9, they would die soon after.
Seriously?
Or even hearing part of the count could make you gravely ill. So people were terrified.
Is there any way to stop her in the story?
There are variations. In some, a clever priest or maybe a brave neighbor hides nearby. When Okiku finishes counting 9, they shout 10 really loudly.
And that satisfies her.
Apparently. Hearing the count completed gives her spirit peace, and she finally disappears. In other versions, Oyama just can't take it anymore and commits seppuku, ritual suicide.
A grim ending either way. It feels like more than just a ghost story, though. Like it's saying something.
Definitely. Scholars often point out themes of, broken trust, broken promises, but also the sheer injustice and brutality inflicted on someone powerless, a girl from the lower classes. It gave voice to that vulnerability.
That makes sense. Does this story have any physical ties, like the doll in the temple?
It does. At Himeji Castle today, you can actually visit a well that's known as Okiku's Well. It's a popular spot.
Wow, really brings the legend to life.
Yeah. And there was even this local belief about something called the Okiku insect. It's a type of Biasa larvae, apparently, that looks kind of bound up with thread.
And they thought
That it was Okiku reincarnated, still showing the signs of being tied up before her death.
Incredible how these things weave into the local culture. Just shows the power of the narrative, that feeling of injustice resonating so strongly.
Exactly. And that resonance doesn't just stay in the past. These legends, especially Okiku the maid story, cast a long shadow into modern Japanese horror.
How so? Are we talking movies?
Oh yeah, big time.
Man.
Think about one of the most iconic figures in modern J-horror, Sadako from Ringu.
From The Ring, the girl, the well of the videotape.
That's the one. Her entire backstory and MO are directly inspired by the Okiku legend.
I never made that connection. But yeah, young girl, murdered, thrown in a well, comes back seeking vengeance.
It maps almost perfectly. Even Sadako's visual look. The long black hair covering her face, the white dress that draws heavily on traditional depictions of yurei, Japanese ghosts, which Okiku embodies.
And those jerky, unnatural movements she makes.
Sources say that's based on movements from kabuki, the traditional Japanese theater form. So it's this amazing blend of ancient folklore, traditional arts, and modern horror sensibilities.
That's fascinating. It shows how these old stories aren't static. They get reinterpreted.
Constantly. And Japanese urban legends are just brimming with this kind of creative energy, tapping into both old fears and new anxieties. It's not just the Yokikus.
What are some other big ones the sources mentioned?
Well, there's the Inurnaki Tunnel. That place has a genuinely dark modern history linked to a horrific murder in 1988.
Right, I think I've heard of that. Very grim.
Yeah, a young man was abducted and killed there. It's remote, creepy, and naturally it sparked legends and even inspired a film, Howling Village.
Then you have the more modern tech-based stuff.
Exactly, like the Red Room Curse. Started as an internet flash animation, supposedly if this pop-up appears asking, do you like the Red Room? No, it doesn't end well for the viewer.
And didn't that get linked to a real-life crime?
Tragically, yes. An 11-year-old girl who was reportedly a fan of the animation killed her classmate. It added this whole other layer of dread to the legend.
Just awful. And what about those bathroom ghosts? Always seems to be bathroom ghosts.
Right. Japan has its classics there. Akamanto, the red cloak, who appears in stalls and offers you red paper or blue paper.
And both choices are bad, I assume.
Very bad, like grisly death bad. And then there's Hanako-san, who's kind of Japan's version of Bloody Mary, a schoolgirl spirit you summon in the bathroom mirror or stall.
Creepy. Any others that stood out?
There's a cursed poem, Tomino's Hell, written back in 1919 by a poet after losing family in World War I.
A poem? How is it cursed?
The legend says if you read it out loud, something terrible will happen to you, possibly death.
Seriously, people believe that.
Well, it gained traction. A film director who made a movie based on it in the 70s died later, fueling the rumors. An author writing about it in 2004 basically said, don't read this aloud, you'll suffer a terrible fate.
Wow. So from haunted tunnels and vengeful spirits to internet curses and killer poems, it's a huge range.
It really shows how these legends adapt, reflecting everything from, fear of isolated places to anxiety about technology or even just the vulnerability of being alone in a public restroom.
So stepping back from all these specific stories, why do you think they stick with us? Why do these tales, old and new, have such a hold on our imagination, not just in Japan, but really globally?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think part of it is exploring those deep themes: injustice, revenge, the unknown, loss. Stories are a way to process those things.
It's like a safe way to confront darkness.
Maybe. And there's also the element of giving voice to the voiceless, like Okiku the servant girl. Maybe these stories persist because they articulate fears or grievances that don't get addressed elsewhere.
So thinking about our journey today, from this eerie doll with its ever-growing hair.
Yeah, still creeps me out a bit.
Me too. To the tragic servant girl counting plates by the well, and then seeing how that echoes in huge horror hits like The Ring.
It's quite a thread, showing how folklore influences pop culture so directly.
It really is. These tales, whether they're rooted way back in feudal Japan or born from internet anxieties, they seem to tap into something really fundamental about being human.
That desire to understand things we can't explain, or maybe to find meaning in tragedy, even if it's a ghostly kind of meaning.
Yeah, and maybe that desire to give a voice back to those who are silenced by violence or injustice. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does our continuing fascination with these ghosts, these urban legends, tell us about our own anxieties today, our own search for meaning when things feel, well, inexplicable?
A deep thought to end on. What are we really looking for when we look into the shadows?
Exactly. Something to think about.